We now have the final minute on the clock as Unknown enters the pit lane. That's his quali over and done with Hayden working his way through the middle sector whilst we try and find someone about to start a lap. It's going to be your current man on provisional pole. Can Z-Mix hang on? You've got Owen already out of the session, probably rage quitting as per usual anyways. We are on board with the McLaren of NASCAR Boy working their way down through the end of the first sector. They had good potential in their inaugural runs, setting purple sectors in the middle and final across the two runs they've previously done. Can they work their way up into the top five? However, currently they're only 8th. As they now head down towards Copse Corner, you can see no battery is being deployed, but it doesn't look like too competitive of a run. However, there's a V-carb entering the final chicane now, qualifying over. This lap is what counts. If Otter has messed up, which he has, that'd be his session over. So it's best at 4 for the V-carb. Dan working his way into the final few corners now. The Williams has perfected it. Over to the line he goes now. It's only enough for 6th in the Williams. That will put him at risk from NASCAR Boy. Now going through Club and Vale. The dash up to the line. What will it be? It's only 8th. Even though they'll know it's 6th. Just didn't load as Jedi goes to 11th. Ninja is our last hope. And Z-Mix, he's spun in the final corner. Ninja goes rather wide through Stone now into Club. It's all about whether or not the Red Bull can ace the final sector to try and put themselves on the front row. What will it be? I believe that's only 4th for the Red Bull. Yes, it is. Which is a shame, to say the least. Five red lights are now up. And we are on the way. NASCAR Boy drive-through penalty for jumping the start in the McLaren. Rather unfortunate to kickstart the season in this manner. As Owen going wheel to wheel with Ninja. I believe that's Unknown going off the road. Joseph down the inside of the McLaren. They're trying to make it 3 wide as Joseph continuing this battle along. Ninja on the outside. He's got a better run, better grip on the exit, and he's going to propel himself up towards Brooklands now. Who's going to be third? I believe it's the Williams of Joseph who will file up in front of him. However, he isn't done there. He's on the mediums, really making a move in this early stage, trying to get a move done on Red Bull. Contact numerous times between the two. That's going to leave him with a rather rough run down towards Copse Corner. Owen on the outside, or at least he tries to hang on the outside. Ninja goes wide. Dan has dragged himself and I believe Luke off with him. Not the best of ways to start this race, to say the least. Now XD Joseph to the inside. He's going to make a mega lunge into Brooklands. He's going to go deep through left field. We now go. Will the Red Bull promote himself back up into second place? He's going to try and get a switch back on the exit. It's a very subtle drift to the inside. XD Joseph gaining on Z-Mix to race the lead on threat. To the inside he goes in Cops. Z-Mix has to try and hang on here in the Ferrari, but it looks like the Williams just extra top speed, able to propel himself in the high speed here in Silverstone. But will he be able to hang on? Z-Mix piling the pressure on to Joseph now. To the outside looks the Ferrari. We are 4 laps in here, or at least for their tyres, as Z-Mix really starting to pile pressure on. You can see taking a slightly tighter line opens up the exit a lot better than the Williams. It's going to be a drag race down to Copse Corner. Can he do what the Williams did to him a few laps ago? To the inside he's going to go. They will go wheel to wheel, but Joseph goes wide, and I believe he hangs on, but they're going to fight into Magnussen Beckett's now, but Z-Mix is going to settle in for second place just for the time being. It was a decent attempt, but it failed. to say the least. Z-Mix now DRS on the Williams. Can he try and get a move on? He's going to look to the outside, going to go the long way round in Stowe. The fans probably loving it just as much as you are. As there's been contact, Z-Mix has found himself round. Joseph in the wall as they now get back underway. Z-Mix swiftly swapping places with the Williams to keep himself as close to the leaders as possible here. Big snap there from Joseph. He's in the gravel trap. That's going to leave the other V-carb on him. There goes Unknown up into 5th. Can Luke even try and get a run on Joseph here into Village? Jedi versus Hayden. Lap 8 here of the race. Will the Haskar yield to the Mercedes? Or will the Mercedes have to force his way by? Heading up towards Cops Corner, we've seen Z-Mix and Joseph duel here. They're going to try as well. Jedi gives a pinch. Hayden backs out, plays the wiser card, but he's going to get much better traction. Jedi went wide on the exit of Cops, and that's allowed the Mercedes to just slot straight through as Rodrigo has rejoined once again. Unknown trying to fight Luke at the moment. To the outside goes the V-Carb. The Red Bull trying to hang on the inside. A bit of contact between the two, as it will be the Pakistani up into 4th place as the Brit rather struggling on his home soil. Can the Red Bull re-promote himself into the top 4 here? Z-Mix overtaking Luke just to make it worse. But there goes the Ferrari up into 5th place. The Red Bull down to 6th. But there's contact. Luke down the inside clips the rear of Z-Mix. I'll be honest, I think that's a penalty. NASCAR boy gaining on Hayden. Where will he go? Will he go for Moving Village, or is he going to wait for Brooklands? The safest bet is Brooklands and Luffield. However, you can just see how close that McLaren is getting to the rear end of the Mercedes. Surely a move is inbound. DRS wide open. Luke, 3-second penalty. To the inside goes the McLaren. There's Hayden on the outside. Can the Silver Arrow hang on against the Papaya? No, they won't. That will be 7th place for NASCAR boy. Can they now pull away and try to keep it with those extra penalties? Z-Mix to the inside of Luke. Gets his revenge for being spun out a few laps ago. As now that's the Ferrari up into 5th. But a bit of defensive manoeuvre, to say the least, through there. Luke trying to find an exit now. It's going to be a race up to turn 1. Who's going to get better traction? Is the Red Bull able to peel alongside? They're going to have a glance, but they think otherwise for the first 2 corners. It's rather flying. Z-Mix back under pressure here. He has to defend NASCAR boy and Luke Clark over 5th place. Can he fend them off, though, is the question. NASCAR boy getting rather close to the back of the Ferrari, just like he was with Luke on lap 16. DRS and now in usage for the McLaren and the Red Bull. They're going to gain on the Ferrari. NASCAR looks to the inside, but doesn't manage to get the move done. Z-Mix takes a rather wide line through Luffield, really trying to conserve those tyres as much as he can. He knows 5th place is pretty much the best he can do. As now NASCAR boy gaining on the run up to Cops. Can the McLaren try and find a way by, maybe even in Maggots and Beckett's? Somewhere risky that you'd at least expect to move. Could be done. We've seen it numerous times with Cops. Could we see it here? No, it will be Z-Mix leading NASCAR boy and Luke onto the hangar straight. NASCAR boy gaining on the Ferrari. To the outside he's going to go. It's a replica of what Z-Mix did to the now retired Joseph. There's contact on the exit of Stowe. Z-Mix really squeezing NASCAR. He goes to the inside. A tad of contact sees the McLaren drop down to 7th in this race rather than up to 5th. The battle continues. To the inside goes NASCAR boy. Can he squeeze by? Luke shuts the door on the McLaren and that is really going to get on the Americans' nerves. They go to the Britain's home soil. Ninja, it's final lap now. Can he find a way by on Stowe? It's amazing to win on track. So that's probably the goal. He will win even if he finishes second here due to that 9-second penalty in Otter's favour. But it doesn't look like the move will be done. Tom Otter will be your winner in round 1 at Silverstone. Ninja will come home P2 but win off track as things seem. But Otter's gone deep. Ninja goes down the inside there and wins the Silverstone GP in a massive twist at the end. I didn't see that coming, but fair play to the Red Bull. But the man who has taken all the headlines, it's Dan, who goes and has a miraculous drive up to third, unknown, really reprising V-Cub's form. With a 4th place, Zemix rounding out the final corner now to take home 5th. Hayden just behind in 6th. NASCAR Boy takes 7th in the McLaren. Luke will then bring home 8th place as Jedi and Rodrigo will be 9th and 10th. However, Rodrigo will be getting a DSQ as a result of not participating for the majority of the race due to internet issues. But hey ho, as now the Haas car goes through Stowe Corner to now complete the final and 26th lap of this race. 10 finishes here in Silverstone as Jedi rounds the final corner, takes home P9, Rodrigo P10. Here are your race results. It is Ninja who wins, followed by Tom Otter, then Dan Yeoman, then Luke's, or as you know, unknown, Zemix in 5th, Hayden 6th, NASCAR Boy or Damie in 7th, Luke in 8th, Jedi 9th, Rodrigo or Gugu Cosmelli, Newcastle and Owen CFC all failed to finish here today. Fastest lap went to Jedi. He set the run on a set of softs in those dying embers. Dan is your driver of day and your pole sitter was Zemix. As much as I've enjoyed this, I hope you all have too. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.